Welcome, creatures of all shapes and sizes, to Banged Up with Bruce Oldham, aka The Kid. This is an action sports podcast, the likes of which the world may never have seen before and may never see again. I hope you guys enjoy. Oh, didn't see you there. Welcome to another episode of Banged Up. Today's a special one. We have on a guest. A guest like none other. A guest we haven't had on the podcast before. His name is Cole Richardson. This young man has done everything from winning Quicksilver Young Guns to coming out with one of the best backcountry segments of 2020. He's a young up-and-comer, rides for head skis, Quicksilver, and gyro, and just absolutely rips. We talk about Cole's childhood growing up in Canmore, how he got into skiing, what led him to backcountry over park and other areas of skiing, and we dive into Cole's experience at Quicksilver Young Guns 2019 in Revelstoke. An absolutely insane event, and anybody who is under 18 should definitely look into this. Then we dive into his video part 19 that he just released this year. Insane. He has everything from videos from Quicksilver Young Guns to new tricks to new pretty much everything. The kid just absolutely rips the backcountry. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. We wrap it up talking about Cole Richardson's future, what he has in plan, and the ski industry in general. But before we get down to business, I have exciting news. So, today's podcast, we have our first official sponsor of Banged Up with Bruce Oldham. This is big news. This is the kid's stoked. So, our first sponsor is Four Sigmatic Mushrooms. They make mushroom coffee. They make mushroom products. Not the kind of shrooms that you guys might think or that you might want to indulge in. They're healthy mushrooms. They're not the psychedelic kind. Although that would be pretty sweet. Maybe we can put a little word in with them. They make everything from pre-workout to post-workout to morning coffee with these mushrooms in them. And honestly, the morning coffee one's my favorite. I used to have it back, I think it was like 5 months ago. And I actually got into their products by Joe Rogan, of course, the Rogan, the one and only. Anyways, he recommended it, and I started trying it and using their products, and it's quite good, actually. The one I mainly use, and the one I'd actually recommend, is the morning coffee with lion's mane and chaga. It really helps with sustaining energy throughout the day and just beating that brain fog. It doesn't have a whole lot of caffeine, so you're not just like, duh. Me, I'm usually like 3 to 4 coffees a day. This way I can crush 3 to 4 coffees a day, and I'm not just vibrating off the walls and kicking holes and shit. But with that being said, you might think mushroom coffee, that can't taste good. Yeah, it doesn't taste bad whatsoever. You can barely even taste the mushrooms. I actually prefer it to normal coffee, minus Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons coffee it's way too good to pass up. But with that being said, you guys should definitely go get some if you like that kind of stuff. I found it really helped me just stay focused and clear throughout the day. There's tons more research behind it right now. I actually haven't been using it long enough to go into all the details with you guys right now, but throughout the podcast, we'll dive into a little bit more on what you guys can get out of it. But if you guys want to get your own, there's a referral link down below if you're on YouTube. And if you're on the podcast listening to it, you can go to Four Sigmatic, and at checkout, use the coupon or the code, I guess, The Kid, all caps, THEKID. For those of you who can't spell, all capitals, big and bold. Yes, I made it big and bold just for you guys. And yeah, get 25% off. It really helps with the price because the price isn't unreasonable, but with 25% off, you can just afford to just send it every week. With that being said, we're going to dive into today's podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this one. Cole's an awesome dude, and it's a sick podcast, so let's get to it. Okay, man. Nice to have you on. We're redoing this because everything cut out and went to shit. My bad.
But we're back.
Yes, we are back. The kids have got their wine, the kids have got the drinks, and time to tune in with Cole Richardson. Skier Cole, as some people call him.
Cheers.
Better known. Cheers. All right, man. Well, I'm stoked to have you on the podcast. We kind of went through this earlier, but you're predominantly a backcountry skier, and you do occasionally shred the park. You grew up in Canmore, I believe you said?
Yeah, Canmore, Alberta.
Super sick. And we were getting into, we were just touching base on Quicksilver Young Guns a little bit. You had won that last year, which is amazing. We talked about triple backflip. I guess we'll dive into that a little bit later. But to start this off, I kind of want to get into how you got into skiing and growing up and kind of what inspired you to get into skiing and backcountry skiing in general.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a long time coming. It's been my entire life from the get-go. Both of my parents were full-on ski racers. They both met at university through a ski racing scholarship.
Okay.
Both of their parents were skiers. All their family was skiers. And I grew up, and me and my sister both learned to ski at the age of 2. So yeah, we were on the hill right away, and grew up skiing at Lake Louise.
Yeah.
That was the home mountain, and we were just kind of like skiing around. It took us a long time. So my dad was a ski coach for a really long time, so it took us a long time to get me and my sister into a program. We were both started off skiing just with our parents.
Yeah.
Day in, day out, every single weekend we would go up there and ski both days. And then I think once we were around 10, I believe, we both got into ski racing.
Yeah, okay.
And I hated it right away.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was fun. Like, I had a lot of friends, but I hated just turning around plastic.
Yeah.
I was lucky. I had a good race team that I was on, so we were able to ski Big Mountain every single afternoon.
Yeah.
So we'd have to show up, train gates all morning, and then we were able to go ski. And I would just dread the mornings, and then I would, like, in between the lunch hour, I would go and I would change my whole outfit, put on a baggier fit, put on a new helmet, and I'd just go start lapping park until everyone came out, and then I'd meet up with them and just go, like, hit cliffs with all my friends. And then it got to a point where I think I finished U14. So I was like 14 years old, and it was like once you went up from there, it was like the programs became a lot more expensive, and it became a lot more serious, and I was like, screw this, like, I'm done. And actually, I think I got reminded about this story the other day. I totally forgot, but actually my very last race was like the overall race of the series, or I guess the winter, and I ended up winning the race, and it was the first race I've ever won in my entire life, and I just got off the podium, handed my mom the medal, and I was like, I'm out, like, it's game over. There's no more racing for me.
Yeah.
So I went into Big Mountain from there, and I always kind of knew I wanted to be a big mountain skier. Kind of like growing up, skiers, like, I'm not sure if you know who they are, but the OGs, like Chris Rubens and Eric Horlson, and they kind of all grew up around here in Canmore, and my dad coached them a little bit growing up, so they're my idols growing up, just knowing that they went through racing and then into Big Mountain and created a career through Big Mountain. So I just kind of wanted to follow their exact footsteps. So that was like the only thing motivating me through racing. But then once I got the opportunity to leave, I was out, and I think I did 2 years of Big Mountain, they're sick, and I just felt like there's like a junior Big Mountain circuit.
Okay.
And they're fun, but like they're not like that serious competitions, to be honest. They're pretty laid back, and there's not like that many people there.
Yeah.
And my coach just kind of told me, he was like, I think if you want to do more with this, you're gonna have to get your tricks up. And he was like, and he got me, or I think he got in contact with the coach for the Windsport team.
Yep.
And I started skiing on the Windsport B team, and I had a really good group of kids. And it was just like we were all best friends, and we were just like lapping COP every night. And I lived in Canmore, which I don't know if it's an hour away from Calgary.
Okay.
So my parents were the best. They would pick me up at school halfway through the day, and like 3 times a week I'd leave school. And I just went to a normal high school. There's no, like, it wasn't a sports school or anything like that. And I would just get picked up like randomly through the day, and they'd drive me to Calgary. I'd go train park all day long, and then they would drive me home at like 10 o'clock at night, and I'd go to school the next day and wake up and do it again. And it was sick. I loved it, and it was like definitely the most progression I've ever seen in my skiing. But it kind of just got to a point where I was becoming 18, and I kind of just like figured I had to start, if I wanted to move towards a big mountain path, I kind of had to start focusing more on it. And to be honest, I definitely wish I got into slopestyle earlier, because just seeing like the 1 year how much it helped my skiing, I feel like if I got into it earlier, it would have been like an insane difference. I wish I definitely got out of ski racing a little bit earlier, but what can you do? Ski racing helped me as well, for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So you've literally been skiing like since like forever. So it's been a part of your life forever, and seems like you're definitely going down that track.
Definitely. Yeah. It's definitely all I know. My friend was telling me this the other day. I brought my friend to a competition with me this year, and he was like reminding me about like when we were in like grade 1, and there'd be like show and tell, and I'd like walk up and I'd be like, one day, like, I'm just gonna ski every day. Like, that's all I care about. I just want to ski every single day. And he's like, I guess that's just kind of what I've done, and that's what I'm doing now.
That's awesome, man. You're living the dream already. Get into it.
For sure.
Yeah, that's sick. So like you said, like, I don't know about you said your hill, like, Calgary's an hour away. For me, my closest hill's an hour away. Your parents are awesome. They'll drive you there. My parents would drive me to my hill too. And I guess it's kind of like the opposite because where I grew up, the only thing is park around there. But like for me, when I get to backcountry, I'm a fish out of water. Like I can ski like pretty good because like when I grew up, I was all like we do like maybe 2 like week trips like out west or something a year if we're lucky. And then I like slowly started like I don't know, probably like you like just absolutely hated basic runs after a while. I started like trying to do threes off every little jump I could find, hitting little bumps on the runs or like everything I could hit to catch air, just like launching off of or trying to. And then I found out about park, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is insane!" But I sort of
what's your home hill? Is it Saint Louis Musa?
Yeah, Mount St. Louis Moonstone is the closest hill.
Yeah, sorry. I skied there when I did my year of slope. I went and competed there for a competition. That was like literally the most fun park I've ever skied in my life. We were there like prime spring condition too, and that's the sickest hill to grow up at.
Dude, Ontario, like if I didn't live near Mount St. Louis, it would be probably one of the worst places to come up skiing because there's nothing there. Every hill's small. Most parks suck. Mount St. Louis done an amazing job. And then in the winter, it's like, in the winter it's cold as hell until you get to spring or like early season, and that's like the best time ever. But Mount St. Louis is amazing.
Oh yeah, that's exactly the same here. Like, have you ever had to compete at COP when it's like?
Oh, dude, I've done my time at COP, and I hate that place. I mean, it's fun, but, like, when you get that wind and, fuck, man. I've had some contests there that, like, minus 30, it's just the worst thing ever.
Yeah, that's the same. Like, that's, like, what I grew up, like, our midwinters in Alberta are pretty terrible. Like, they're so cold.
Pretty brutal, man. I was going to ask you why backcountry, but it seems like backcountry's kind of been something that you've always kind of been leading towards, like, since, like, ever. And you use park as kind of like a way to improve your backcountry skills. Like did you ever consider taking park like as more seriously than backcountry and becoming like a park skier, or was it mostly just to improve your backcountry skills and the tricks?
There was definitely a time when I was competing slope. I started off. I joined the team, and I was like,
committed?
When I started the team, I was the butt end of every joke. Like, I was just like, I showed up, and they're like, we're training bag, and my coach was like, right 360. And I was like, no. Like, I was like, I can't do a right 3. And then, like, through the season, just started figuring it out and just started training. And, like, definitely by the end of the season, like, it was a really hard decision leaving slope. Like, I was like, definitely by the end of the season, I was getting so much better, and I was just, like, figuring out. And, like, I found Halfpipe like the most fun thing. I actually loved competing. I did the best in all of my like pipe comps, and I was like definitely thinking about it for a little while. But I don't know. I'm definitely more focused on the media side of skiing. Like I love the idea of being able to spend my life putting together video parts.
Yeah,
that's definitely my overall goal is just to be able to pursue that. So that's definitely like my main drive to stay and ski big mountain. I love like just being out and like building jumps into POW and that, and that's like I kind of grew up. Like I never really grew up taking slope seriously, so I think like I always used it, as you're saying, as a way to kind of help my big mountain skiing. Yeah. But yeah, I've definitely thought about it, but I don't know. I think I'm kind of at a point now where I'm definitely going to stick with big mountain and POW skiing and just try to continue that. Well,
it's like you said. First of all, Halfpipe terrifies the hell out of me. I just started like taking it seriously this year and actually trying to ride it, and like a full-on super pipe like the one at Calgary, if you're not used to riding pipe like me, it's like it's terrifying, man. I was trying to do like quart nines in it.
When I got into that for my very first time, that was hilarious. That was actually like, I remember that being the biggest joke. Everyone was like, first day COP's pipe opened, and everyone on my whole team was like so hyped. And do you know who Andrew Longino is?
Oh, I know him well, yeah.
Yeah. So he's a big homie, and he was on my team then, and he's just like he's the master. He's the friggin' man. And
yeah, he's the pipe master.
Yeah, he's the pipe man, and he hops in the pipe, and just like this was 3 years ago, and he's a year younger than me. So I guess he was like 15 or 16 at then, and just like first day, he was like so hyped. He was like we're like starting to do 9 stuff, and I could not get out of the pipe.
No.
I was like, there's no way. And it's so icy, too. And I just, like, I didn't have pipe skis at the time. And I was just like, I'm going to hate this. But I don't know. The thing that I like about Halfpipe is it's so different than any side of skiing because it's so much easier to progress. Well, maybe not easier. I take that back. Pipe skiers, utmost respect to pipe skiers.
It's terrifying.
Terrifying. Yeah, it's the most terrifying thing. But I found that I improved more in pipe faster than anything I've ever done in skiing, just because every single hit realistically is the same to a degree. So it's just like you can build up your confidence so much faster until you get to a point where you got to start doing both way dubs. But
yeah, it's not
starting off I thought it was sick, just like getting used to being able to like pump down and commit and like not scruff any speed and just like actually like learning how to boost the pipe.
Dude, like boosting a pipe in one hit is like just getting a nice boost is pretty sick. It's a good feeling, but
best feeling.
Decking a pipe is not fun. I'm used to like
the worst feeling.
I'm used to like slushy Louis pipes with like 8-foot pipe and like the super pipe at Louis is not a full super pipe.
No, dude, that's why I liked Louis so much because of the pipe. That was like I've been training just the ice pipe at COP that entire year, and I showed up to Louis, and it was just like the little pipe full slush, and I was just having the time of my life.
Yeah, you're just sending it. Yeah. All right. Well, it seems like I mean, for backcountry skiing, it would really help to be a well-rounded like skier in general, and like you said, getting right threes down is probably going to be somewhat important when it comes to backcountry skiing. Can't do a whole video part just left tricks, so you gotta learn those other things too, which is super sick. And then I guess kind of covered the way you came up into skiing, but you like we talked about earlier, you got on the Quicksilver Young Guns, which is super sick. When that thing first came out, I was so hyped on it, and I really wanted to get into it. Then I realized I was too old, and I was like, well, that's gay. But I was like, I was so stoked. I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. I was like, this is the best contest that's ever been invented. And I was like, damn it, I'm too old. But
it is like
such a good opportunity.
The biggest shout out to Quicksilver, like that. They literally, it's the best contest in the world. Like they just take 4 kids from across the world and just bring us all together, and it was just like, that was definitely utmost respect to Quicksilver for putting that together. It's the sickest event.
Well, I remember like as a kid growing up, my favorite contests of any ones I could do were always jam format, and everybody just gets together and just seds with all the boys and stuff, and that's basically what that is, but on like steroids. So you might as well talk about your experience at Quicksilver Young Guns and what it was like and what you guys were doing, and because you skied Blackcomb, right?
No, it was at Revy.
I was at Revy. Oh yeah, it was the year it was at Revy.
Yeah, it was at Revy. Yeah. No, that whole contest, that was sick. That was definitely probably the best week I've ever had in my entire life. I've skied Revy multiple times growing up. I've been there. It's about 4 hours away from where I live. But right when you show up to Revy, here I'm kind of jumping the gun. So that contest was like pretty much my only goal the entire season. Yeah. Like that. Like I told both my parents, I was like, okay, there's this contest. It's called the Quicksilver Young Guns. And I was like a little book. I like write down all my shit in, and I was like, wrote it down. I was like,
yes, I love
Quicksilver Young Guns. I didn't care anything. Once I showed up there, I had no worries. All the guys are the sickest skiers. There's not a thought in my mind about winning it. I was just like, just getting there is like my goal for this entire winter, and I'll figure out what I'm going to do next winter. But like, I just like wanted that so bad. And I just filmed, there's a lot of people who put like 20 videos into it, and I literally just filmed one part that was just all filmed on a little dad cam with my friends. It was not professionally filmed at all. We were just like going out after school, and we'd like skip classes, and I was just like, I had a list of tricks all written down that I wanted to put into the thing, and I got it all. And I got a text from Sammy, and there honestly wasn't a ton of big mountain entries, so I think that helped my case a little bit, and I think Sammy was pretty stoked that I was like doing some more tricks, I guess, outside of the park. Yeah. And got the invite, and I was super hyped. And then we showed up, and as I said, I've skied Revy quite a few times, but at Revelstoke, it's a pretty sweet resort, but right at the base of Revelstoke is the nicest hotel you've ever seen. Like, it's just like this 5-star hotel right at the base, and I've never even being able to think about staying there. It's so expensive, but it's like so sick, and it's all so gourmet. And we show up, and I get the text like, yeah, like this is your room, this is where you're staying, like you're gonna be here. And I was like, no way. And you had to bring a guardian with you, so I got to bring my mom, and it was just a week long paid vacation for my mom. She was so stoked on it. She was like, Yeah. We showed up and we had this like huge room. We each had our separate rooms in it. We had a kitchen and a living room with a fireplace. And like I'd get home from skiing and my mom would be sitting there with their feet up by the fire, and like it was hype. But it was sick. The guys there as well, having Kieran, Zane, and Tim there. That was really dope. We all got along super well, so that was really fun. We were just all posted up in this nicest hotel, just hot lapping, and a lot of those guys hadn't had much experience skiing power, big mountain. No. So like to them, that must have been, I don't know. Like Revy's a pretty heavy hill. Like it's not very mellow. There's a lot of huge shit, and we definitely went to all the biggest shit Revy has. So that was a sick week. That was really fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, my mother actually grew up near Revy, and her dad was the manager at Revy for a while. So I've been out there and I've skied there a bit, and it's not like the most beginner mountain, especially if you're getting into that shit. And like a lot of those skiers that you listed off, like a lot of people that listen to this will know who they are. They're not known to be all mountain skiers whatsoever. So,
but they're known. They're known for sure.
They're definitely known. Yeah, they shred hard.
They had no problem getting into the big mountain.
They're not skiers that are going to be shying away from that stuff. They're going to be like, they take one day, get used to it, then they're going to be like, okay, now I can take all my park tricks to here.
Yeah, for sure. I think the first day we showed up and Kieran was on park skis, and he showed up, and I think they were like 80 underfoot.
Yeah.
And he was like, this is not going to cut it.
No.
So we got him on a pair of power skis. I think that was his first time ever being on power skis or ever skiing paddle. But like you can watch the video. It was nothing new to him.
Yeah, I watched the video. It was pretty insane. And then this season, you kind of outdid yourself even compared to last season. I mean, you won Young Guns last year, and then this year you put out probably one of the better like backcountry edits I've seen in a long time. It's called 19. If anybody hasn't seen it, go check it out. Cancel this podcast right now. Go watch it. Cole Richardson. It's pretty insane. I want to know what went into filming that this year. Like you said, for Quicksilver Young Guns, you like dedicated most of the year to filming for that, and you had that goal. I like what you said about the book, because I've also been doing that too. I've been like, writing it down and just working on it each day and stuff like that. So that's awesome. But so I want to know what went into that, because that's something like that doesn't come in like that. Like I know how much goes into making a mediocre park edit or season edit, because I've done that before, and that's nothing like what you're doing. So let's hear about it.
I'm glad. I'm really glad you think that, and I'm like really glad you noticed that. But to be honest, I was like, there's so much that I had planned and written down that I didn't get to accomplish. That was like all ready for that video. Like COVID put a huge dent in the filming of that video. I knew I wanted to drop a part. The entire first half of that part was filmed all 2 seasons ago.
Okay, so I saw some from the Young Guns event.
Yeah. So a lot of that footage was from the Young Guns. I got all like the raw footage from that, and then I went on a trip to Mount Baker.
Yeah.
A trip to Mount Baker with Head to go film a video with Head Skis, and me and Aaron Blanc, Evan McEachran, and Sam Cooch, and we were up there for 2 weeks. So the entire first part was like a lot of footage from that. They didn't end up using like all that much of my footage in their actual video. So to be honest, I was kind of hyped about that. I had a bunch of footage to work with. So I know I had all that, and I knew I wanted to do something with that, but I knew I wanted to like kind of do something special. But a lot of that footage is like with Young Guns and that, it's all just jumps. Like every single clip is just jump clips. So I want to try to get some more skiing stuff, and I kind of had a lot planned out, but I didn't know exactly how it was going to come together. And then I went to Revy for 2 weeks, and I filmed with a good friend, Cam Keith, up there. Shout out Cam. And I just texted him literally 2 days before showing up. I was like, yo, is there any chance you would be down to just come and film me and my friend Jonathan for a little while? He's another skier on the Head team, and I was like, would you just be down to come film us? And we did 2 days, and then it just started snowing, and we were like, let's just keep filming. And that helped so much. Like the edit would have been so different without that footage, I think, because it was just like it put a lot of contrast to the beginning of the footage. But yeah, I don't know. It was kind of I was supposed to spend the last 2 months of the season in Whistler, which would have been huge. That would have helped a ton. If I was able to do that, but I don't know, wasn't able to get that because of COVID.
Yeah.
It was alright. It gave us a lot of time to edit it and put it together. But yeah, putting it together was a huge part of it. I started off and I'd never used Adobe Premiere. And I was a beginner, and I downloaded it, got software, and I sat down and I started editing, and I was like, I can't do this. Like I was like, I can make it, and I'll be able to make it all right, but it's not going to be to the extent that I want it.
Yeah.
And I texted my good friend Reed, and I hit him up, and I was like, yo, would you, by any chance, I'll pay you a little bit, would you just be down to help me put this together? And he's the biggest homie, and he's really good at editing, and he was like really down to work really closely with me on it. He was like, no doubt. So me and him, every single night we're on a Zoom call, because we obviously couldn't link.
Yeah.
So we were on Zoom calls, and then we were just sharing the screen, and I was just watching him edit, and I would be like, yo, like, that's sick, but think we could just shorten that one clip a little bit, and me and him did the entire body together just, like, through Zoom, and then after that, I took the hard drive from him and brought it to another one of my friends. His name's Aiden, and he just did all the fine-tuning and details, and, I was pretty hyped to release that. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, dude, it was sick. That's awesome that you worked that closely on your edit, because some people will just send all their clips off to somebody and be like, hey, here's this. I like to edit mine personally, but I'm not on the level of editing like you are. Like, I'm not that good with Adobe Premiere or anything like that, where I'm not going to be able to do it like how I want it. Like, Instagram clips, all that other stuff, no problem. I got that all day.
Yeah,
but when it comes to, like, doing a proper, like, season edit or a proper part like you're doing, that's something that you need to put out and give to somebody else to do unless you're, like, really advanced with that stuff. And the fact that you're working that closely to do it the way you want to do it, but also taking, like, that other stuff, I think is really what makes it, like, one of the better parts. Because you could just send it to somebody, like, one time, this is a while ago, I was, like, probably 17, it was my first year skiing park, I could do, like, a cork 9, I was stoked. But I sent him this trick, like, I sent him, like, all my clips, and he helped me film it, and this random guy edited it, and, like, he put a front 2 with a revert in it, and I'm like, what the fuck? I got it.
Yeah, no.
I'm like, come on.
Fully. Yeah, I'm the exact same way as you. I'm huge. Like, I love editing. I love putting videos together, and like I'm very like particular on how I want it to look, and I have like a lot of specific inspirations that go into how I want like the videos to look. And I really had to swallow a good amount of my pride going into just to like edit that, because I started doing it and I was like, okay, I'm not as good at editing as I thought I was. No. I was like, I know the thing or two, but I don't know. But yeah, that's what was sick about doing it all with my friends and being able to bring like my close friends onto the project, is I was able to just work so close with them. And that was exactly what you're saying. Like I did that as well. And even like we go a couple days, and it's like, I don't know, I guess I just had a very specific way on how I wanted it to look, and then we'd have like a couple days where he would work on it alone. I'd come back and I'd be like, no, I hate that clip. Like, I look so bad. Like, we have to get rid of that. And he'd be like, what? I love it. I'm like, dude, sorry, we have to cut that clip out. Yeah,
that's hilarious. I'm the same. You look at some clips, people are like, that's sick, and I'm like, no, that's gross. My arm's up here, that looks like shit. We're getting rid of it right now. Yeah, delete it.
Yeah, I guess they say you're your worst critic.
Yeah, that's awesome though, man. And you got to do the head stuff too, which is sweet. Like, you went on a trip with Head, which is really good. It seems like you work very closely with your sponsors, and you're really working with them, and you're really like, I mean, for me personally, I believe that the skiing thing is like, skiing in general is kind of moving a little towards social media, actually a lot towards social media. Even in contest scenes, like, so what? So put it this way, you land on the podium, you're at the podium, you get your picture taken, there's maybe even at a World Cup, there's maybe like, 100 people there watching? You walk your ski up there? Okay, or you post one video of you doing a 2P4 on the internet, put the proper hashtags in, and it gets like 6,000 views, and you're like, well, what's, like, it's very different. Like, obviously you have to have skill and everything like that, but I think it's like just the amount of people you can reach with your stuff and content-wise, you really have to be focusing on social media and kind of that sort of aspect of skiing nowadays to really, like, make a name for yourself. And contest skiing's kind of dying. Like, the prize purses are going down a lot. Like, for me, even, like, I'm competing at a NORAM level, which isn't the highest level, but it's a decent level, and I can't even cover my, like, you get third and you barely even cover your entry fee. It's like, what the hell? I spent like $3,000 to go to this contest.
That's huge with slope, yeah. And that's like, and slope is like in big mountain and stuff, you don't get any money or anything. That's why, like, everyone always asks me, they're like, yo, like, why are you not competing right now? Like, cool, like, you're so, like, you do well in so many of the comps, the big mountain comps, but I'm just like I could ask 90% of my friends, like, yo, who won the last Freeride World Tour stuff? Not one of them will be able to tell me.
I can't even tell you.
Yeah, I'm going to be fully honest. I'm sorry to anyone, but I can't tell you either. I don't follow it at all. Like, I just don't. I don't know. It's just, like, it's pretty hard. And it's saying, like, slope. And it's kind of unfortunate. Like, I don't know if it's a good thing. I think social media is opening up a lot of opportunities for a lot of skiers, which is sick. I think it allows you to kind of make your own way, which is cool, and it's a lot more creativity is coming into skiing, I think, through social media. But then at the same time, it's also it's taking away a lot of skiing, which is
it's taking away a lot from skiing, but it's also giving a lot. You kind of have to you have to use it to your advantage. But there's definitely a big change with it. Like I said, man, I can go to contests. I could win every single contest this year on the NORAM circuit, and I wouldn't even pay for my travel fees and my fees to go to those contests just to get points.
exactly.
If you're competing at the World Cup level, it's a little different. But then you're competing that's such a high level, and to get a podium at a World Cup and stuff is if you get 2 podiums at that level in a year, you're that's a really good season. And even then, that doesn't cover your travel costs for the entire year. It's
yeah, for sure.
You have to find other ways to do it. All right, well that's sick. I'm glad we touched base on that because a lot of people just expect, hey, I can go and do decent at contests and you're gonna be able to fund most of my season, and that's not how that works. So the last question I want to ask you before I let you go, because we've been eating up a lot of time here, is what do you have planned for the future and where do you see yourself? I know you kind of talked about moving on to moving into backcountry and filming segments and working obviously with sponsors and stuff and doing your skiing through that area, but what are your goals and where are you planning to go in the next couple years?
Yeah, that's a huge question, man.
Big one.
I think about it. Yeah, big. Yeah, think about it day in, day out, and it's tough. It's the ski industry is crazy these days, man. It's so oversaturated. Everyone is insanely good. Everyone is putting out the sickest content. Everyone's skiing so well. It's definitely a really crazy time in skiing, but I'm very stoked on it. I've wanted to be a pro skier since my first day on skis, so it's my goals have never changed since then. The dream is just to be able to film my own parts and film in the movies for sure, but I'm definitely pretty keen. I'm all for growing up. My biggest goal was to be in the movies, the Matchstick movies and the Level 1 movies and all of that, but definitely seeing where skiing is now and seeing a lot of skiers who just kind of can do their own thing and get supported by sponsors is to me that's the sickest thing. As I said before, I have a lot of influences that shape my skiing and my videos, and I love to be able to stay true to that and be able to keep making videos how I want them to look and show my style through video. So I'm definitely gonna move forward thinking a lot on focusing on media parts and video parts and just putting stuff together and just having fun with it. I don't know. I think it's it's a crazy world in skiing right now. It's a lot is changing, but it's very connection based, which has been a huge struggle for me. Is making those connections, and a lot of time you just see a lot of kids getting the craziest opportunities just because of the people they know. So that's been a pretty big struggle for me, but I'm just kind of really trying to work towards that. Just meet as many people as I can. Stoked to meet you on this podcast, but
yeah, you too, dog.
It's these are the things that matter. I don't know. I think and this is I told you this before. I have a lot of respect for you doing all of this stuff, and I followed your Instagram account, and I think it's you go out on a limb and you post everything you do, and it's you're trying to create a full name for yourself, and I respect that.
Yeah.
I think it's sick. You're not just skiing. It's I don't do any of that stuff, and I need to get a lot better at it. But it's sick. You're just on here. I was just telling my girlfriend. I was he's the same age as me.
I'm 21, bud.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a little older. I'm still short, but I'm 21. Yes. Dude,
21.
I've made my mistakes,
we're
man.
roughly the same age. We're in the same area. We're both trying to move forward in skiing, and it's sick that you're just out here just interviewing people and talking to people and doing your own thing and promoting yourself. You do a great job promoting yourself, and I just think I'm trying to kind of do the same thing.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say I really respect you because you're talking about connections, how hard it is, man. I've been there. This is the first year where I've had I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but I'm a decent skier, and this is the first year where I've had ski sponsorship where I haven't had to pay for skis. And this year I broke both my pairs of skis, and due to my size, my rep wasn't even able to get me skis for the rest of the season, which was a huge pain in the ass for me. But it's hard. Connections are huge, and I was gonna say like, even I know how hard it is, but you're doing a good job of it already. Like, the fact that you're able to work with heads so closely to do, like, segments and stuff like that at this age, and, like, doing that, like, right now is, like, a really good, towards the future. Like, that's huge, man.
Thank you. Well,
definitely going in the right direction. Yeah, that's awesome.
Shout out He's they've helped me a ton. My rep, James Heim.
Yep, I know James.
So I grew up watching his videos every single day. I watched all of his parts, watched him in the movies, and then finally once when I was younger, I think I was 14 actually. I was 14, and I just got a DM from him, and he was like, "Hey man, like, want to talk about skiing?" and sent me an email, and I've just been working with him ever since, and he's been great, and Head has been great, and they've provided a lot of opportunities, and it's been sick. But yeah, it's like, as the ski industry is super, super oversaturated right now, so I think if you can find a company that is willing to support you and work closely with you, I think it's important to try to hold on to that connection and work as close as you can with them, because you need those connections in this day and age. It's hard to do it all on your own.
Yeah, no, 100%. For anybody who's listening out there, any little kids that are looking to get sponsors and stuff, if you can find somebody good like what Cole's talking about, stick with it, man, because that's huge. And like I said, it's really oversaturated right now, and there's like, I don't want to say it's a dying sport, but it's definitely changing from where it used to be. Action sports alone, like, I would say, have
huge.
The audience has definitely gone down a lot, so you definitely need to pay attention to those things, and connections are everything.
I also want to, that being said, I want to touch base as you're saying that, kids out there, like, also, when I was growing up, I think I was a bit way too focused on sponsors and things like that.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
It's important too. Growing up, like, a lot of kids, like, I get DMs from kids quite often being like, "Hey man, do you know, like, any companies I can reach out to, and, like, who I should get sponsored to?" And I'm like, man, like Head has been the greatest connection for me, but they reached out to me, and that's why I think I have such a good connection with them.
Yeah.
I think, like, that's important for kids to think, is just focus on you, focus on your skiing, and, like, focus on creating an image for yourself. Like, you'll have to buy skis now, but one day if you stick with it, someone's going to support you.
Yeah, no, I'm totally on board with that. When I was a little kid, first of all, I didn't even start skiing till I was, like, 15, so, like, I didn't know much about the skiing industry. I didn't even, like, really get into park till I was, like, 16, so I was that kid that was doing K-Feds and asking to get sponsorships, like, send me free clothes, and I think my first sponsorship was, like, by a company called 2320 or something stupid like that. It's a little clothing company from Alaska. Like, no disrespect to them, but I think I paid $50 for a sweater, and then I could represent them. I was like, what? like really, like, for you kids that getting into it, like, really just, like, build your own self, get good, put out a couple parts, get some recognition, and everything will come. And you do have to reach out. You have to make those connections yourself, but...
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that you shouldn't rush into right away, especially when you're not, like, at the level that you need to be.
I have a very similar story to that, but my first ever sponsor, you know Kai Smart?
Yes, I know Kai very well.
Shout out Kai. This one day I think me and him were probably, I think we were literally 13 years old, 13 to 14 years old, and me and him both were just lapping momentum, and I met him that week, and we just, like, became really close friends, and we knew the Giro rep was there.
Yeah.
I were so focused on trying to get a sponsor, and me and him were so young, and, like, both, like, went up to him together, and we just went up to the Giro rep, like, "Hi, like, I'm Kai, and I'm Cole, and could we get a sponsor?" and the dude was like, "Well, like, I'll do a lap with you tomorrow." And the rep was like, "Yeah, I'll do a lap with you guys tomorrow, and we can talk further." And me and Kai showed up first thing on the glacier.
Yeah.
We practiced one run the entire way through, and we just kept trying it. And I think the run was like, I think I did, like, a front two out of a rail. I think I did, like, a backflip and a cork 7. And I was, like, so stoked on it, and it was so funny, but it was just, like, it was sweet. And the rep was super nice and hooked us up, and he's been helping us out ever since, and I'm still riding for Giro, so that's cool. And you definitely, that's a huge thing, is, like, it's not all about sitting behind your computer and sending an email. You got to go out and meet people and put it, like, it's a lot more nerve-wracking, but you just got to go ask people face-to-face. And
Totally, yeah. No, I totally get that. That's awesome how you guys came full circle, because both you guys are sponsored by Giro still to this date. And, a lot of these people, there's people out there that have way less ability, way less following, way less influence, and they have way better sponsorship deals and way better like all that stuff because they have made a connection with the rep themselves and they know them well and they've built that connection, that personal connection. With that being said, I would think we should probably end this podcast because we've been ripping for a while now. But dude, it was a treat having you on, man. That was awesome.
Yeah,
I really
nice
appreciate
to
it.
meet you, bro.
All right, well, that was our time with Cole Richardson. I hope you guys enjoyed it just as much as I did. He's an awesome dude. He's absolutely killing it, backcountry and otherwise. So keep your eye out for him in the future. And if you haven't watched his part 19, go watch it. I'll link it down below on YouTube. If you guys are listening to this podcast for the first time or even not the first time, subscribe and give it a 5-star rating if you can. That'd be amazing. I would really appreciate it. It helps the podcast get seen by more people. And yeah, if you guys have any guests you want to see on in other episodes, let me know. Send me guests if you want to let them know about the podcast. And if they want to come on, send them my way. I'm willing to have anybody and everybody on the podcast as long as it's somewhat action sports related, you know. I mean, porn stars, I'm not going to say no, but let's try to keep it in one niche. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one every Thursday with a new podcast. Peace.